Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello, guys, welcome to Global Happenings today. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for sticking around and welcome to 2020. All right, we have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news read: Politicians shocked as President Buhari unveiled plans for 2023, shared Obasanjo. See details. But before we go on with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. All right, let's listen to the news.
My dear compatriots, Nigerians decade. Today marks a new decade. It is a time of hope, optimism, and fresh possibilities. We look forward as a nation to the 2020s as the opportunity to build on the foundations we have laid together on security, diversification of our economy, and taking on the cause of corruption. These are the pledges on which I have been twice elected president and remain the framework for a stable, sustainable, and more prosperous future. Elections are the cornerstone of our democracy. I salute the commitment of the millions who voted in peace last February and of those leaders who contested for office vigorously but fairly, submitting to the authority of the electorate, the independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and judicial process. I understand very well the frustrations our system has in the past triggered. I will be standing down in 2023 and will not be available in any future elections, but I'm determined to help strengthen the electoral process both in Nigeria and across the region where several ECOWAS members go to polls this year. As Commander-in-Chief, my primary concern is the security of the nation and the safety of our citizens. When I assumed office in May 2015, my first task was to rally our neighbors so that we could confront Boko Haram as a coordinated regional basis. Chaos is not a neighbor any of us hope for. We have been fighting on several fronts: violent extremists, cultists, and organized criminal networks. It has not been easy. But as we are winning the war, we also look to the challenge of winning the peace, the reconstruction of lives, communities, and markets. The Northeast Development Commission will work with local and international stakeholders to help create a new beginning for the Northeast. The federal government will continue to work with state governments, neighboring states, and our international partners to tackle the root causes of violent extremism and the networks that help finance and organize terror. Our security forces will receive the best training and modern weaponry, and in turn will be held to the highest standard of professionalism and respect for human rights. We will use all the human and emerging technological resources available to tackle kidnapping, banditry, and armed robbery. The new Ministry of Police Affairs increased recruitment of officers and security reforms being introduced will build on what we are already delivering. We will work tirelessly at home and with our allies in support of our policies to protect the security of life and property. Our actions at all times will be governed by the rule of law. At the same time, we shall look always to engage with all well-meaning leaders and citizens of goodwill to promote dialogue and partnership and understanding. We need democratic government that can guarantee peace and security to realize the full potential of our ingenious and entrepreneurial hardworking people. Our policies are designed to promote genuine, balanced growth that delivers jobs, rewards industry. Our new Economy Advisory Council brings together respected and independent thinkers to advise me on strategy that champions inclusive and balanced growth and above all fight poverty and safeguard national economic interests. As we have sat down to celebrate with friends and family over this holiday season, for the first time in a generation, our food plates have not all been filled with imports of products we know can easily be produced here at home. The revolution in agriculture is already a reality in all corners of the country. The new agreements with Morocco, Russia, and others will help us access on attractive terms the input we need to accelerate the transformation in farming that is taking place. A good example of commitment to this inclusive growth is the signing of African Continental Free Trade Area and the creation of National Action Committee to oversee its implementation and ensure necessary safeguards are in place to allow us to fully capitalize on regional and continental markets. The joint land border security exercise currently taking place is meant to safeguard Nigeria's economy and security. No one can doubt that we have been good neighbors and good citizens. We have been the helpers and shock absorbers of the sub-region, but we cannot allow our well-planned economic regeneration plans to be sabotaged. As soon as we are satisfied that the safeguards are adequate, normal cross-border movement will be resumed. Already, we are making key infrastructure investments to ensure our ease of doing business. On transportation, we are making significant progress on key roads such as the Second Niger Bridge, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja-Kano Highway. 2020 will also see tangible progress on the Lagos to Kano rail line. Through Executive Order 007, we are also using alternative funding programs in collaboration with private sector partners to fix strategic roads such as the Apapa Oworoshoki Expressway. Abuja-Port Harcourt have new international airport terminals as well as Kano and Lagos in 2020. When completed, all the projects will positively impact business operations in the country. These projects are not small and do not come without some temporary disruption. We are doing now what we should have done a long time ago. I thank you for your patience and look forward to the dividends that we need for future generations will long enjoy. For power has been a problem for generations. We know we need to pick up the pace of progress. We have solutions to help separate parts of the value chain to work better together. In the past few months, we have engaged extensively with stakeholders to develop series of comprehensive solutions to improve the reliability and availability of electricity across the nation. These solutions include ensuring fiscal sustainability for sector, increasing both government and private sector investment in the power transmission and distribution segment, improving payment transparency through deployment of smart meters, and ensuring regulatory actions maximize service delivery.
All right, and we have in place a new deal with Siemen, supported by the German government, after German Chancellor Angela visited us in Abuja to invest in new capacity for generation, transmission, and distribution. These projects will be under close scrutiny and transparency. There will be no more extravagant claims that end only in waste, theft, and mismanagement. The next 12 months will witness the gradual implementation of these actions, after which Nigeria can expect to see significant improvement in electricity service, supply reliability, and delivery. Separately, we have planned to increase domestic gas consumption. In the first quarter of 2020, we will commence work on the AKK gas pipeline, OB3 gas pipeline, and the expansion of the Escravos Lagos pipeline. While we look to create a new opportunity in agriculture, manufacturing, and other long neglected sectors in 2020, we will also realize increased value from oil and gas, delivering a more competitive, attractive, and profitable industry operating on commercial principles and free from political interference. Just last week, we were able to approve a fair framework for the $10 billion expansion of Nigerian liquefied natural gas, which will increase export by 35%, restore our position as a world leader in the sector, and create thousands of jobs. The amendment of the Deep Offshore Act in October signaled our intention to create a modern, forward-looking industry in Nigeria. I'm confident that in 2020 we will be able to present a radical program of reform for oil and gas that will excite investors, improve governance, and strengthen protection for host community and the environment. We can expect the pace of change in technology only to accelerate in the decade ahead. Coupled with our young and vibrant population, these offer huge opportunities if we are able to harness the most productive trends and tame some of the wilder elements. This is delicate balance with which many countries are struggling. We are seeking an informed and mature debate that reflects our rights and responsibilities as citizens in shaping the boundaries of how best to allow technology to benefit Nigeria. During my Democracy Day speech on June 12, 2019, I promised to lay the enduring foundation for taking 100 million Nigerians out of mass poverty over the next 10 years. Today, I restate that commitment. We shall continue reforms in our education, healthcare, and water sanitation. I have met international partners such as Gavi, that's GAVI, the Vaccine Alliance, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who support our social welfare program. I will continue to work with state and local government to make sure that these partnerships deliver as they should. Workers will have a living wage and pensioners will be looked after. We are steadily clearing pension and benefit areas neglected for so long. The new Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development will consolidate and build on the social intervention scheme and will enhance the checks and balances necessary for this set of programs to succeed for the long term. I'm able to report that the journey has already begun with the passage and signing into law of the 2020 Appropriation Act. As the new decade dawns, we are ready to hit the ground running. Let me pay tribute to the 9 National Assembly who work uncommonly long hours to make sure that the 2020 budget scrutiny in both thorough and timely. The close harmony between the executive and the legislature is a sharp contrast to what I have experienced in the recent past, when the Senate kept the previous budget for 7 months without good reasons just to score cheap political goals, thereby disrupting the budgetary process and overall economic development plan. Our policies are working and the results will continue to show themselves more clearly by the day. Nigerian is the most tremendous can-do market, offering extraordinary opportunities and return. Investors can look forward with confidence not only to an increasing momentum of change, but also to specific incentives, including our new visa on arrival policy. They can also be certain of our unshakable commitment to tackle corruption as we create an environment that allows initiative, enterprise, and hard work to strive. It is more important than ever to call out those who find the rule of law an inconvenience or independent regulation and irritation. We are doing our part here in Nigeria. We will continue to press our partners abroad to help with the supply side of corruption and have received some encouragement. We expect more funds stolen in the past to be returned to us, and they will be plowed back into development with due transparency. This is a joint initiative where our policies have worked best. It has been because of the support of ordinary Nigerians in their million numbers that even the most powerful of special interests cannot defy. I thank you all for your support. Transition by its very nature carries with its change and some uncertainty along the way. I encourage you to be tolerant, law-abiding, and peace-loving. This is a new year and the beginning of a new decade, the Nigerian decade of prosperity and promise for Nigeria and for Africa. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. This is really, really interesting. There are other things that the president had made mention of, especially some of the achievements that he had achieved for the past few months. But we have our central point, that's our anchor point, and we're looking at what he said about 2023. There had been a lot of fears in the mind of politicians, especially the likes of Tinubu, who is angling to become the president of Nigeria come 2023, and also other politicians in Nigeria, but they have been overly quiet, waiting to see what the statement the president was going to make, especially on the face, which they had believed he will unveil if he has any plan for 2023. But he has said to Nigerians that he will be more interested in strengthening the electoral system of the country, and has made a lot of statement about ensuring transparency will suffice during the electioneering period. But that is one question that Nigerians are really looking at. How would he make that possible, owing to the fact that fairly recently there had been a statement that he gave, a statement he made when the person of Senator the Akwa Ibom State Governor, I'm talking about Governor Godswill Akpabio, in a meeting when, after the president had addressed Nigerians and made Nigerians understand that he's more interested during his 77th birthday, he made Nigerians understand that he's more interested in transparency, and he will make sure that nobody uses his name to secure votes from Nigeria, that every politician should work for his vote, should work for the electorates to see their contribution and elect them. And after then they had a meeting. And when they had a meeting, during the period of a meeting, Godswill Akpabio opened up to him that he knows three party system in Nigeria, that he knows Nigeria is running three-party system. And he said one of them was PDP, the second was APC, and the third was Buhari, who has more than 12 million electorates who are loyal to him, and that he wants to ask him to please reassure APC that all those voters will vote APC back to power, that if he steps away, then it's like APC is finished. And I think the president was really impressed by that, and then he gave them his distinct blessing that he was still going to be part of them. But here he's telling us that he will distance himself. So how true is this? He said he will distance himself from everything, like election 2023. He's going to be stepping down, and will make sure that he strengthens the electoral system very well. The question is, how true are this word? And well, time will tell, as we're still waiting to see. But I know that he's more interested in writing his name in history as one of those presidents in Nigeria who, at least, even if he didn't do anything, but was able to curb corruption and possibly fraudulent practices during election period. He has spoken extensively about power also, and my colleague would like to say one or two things about this, how he has shaded both President Obasanjo over the issue of power.
Well, for the issue of power, we all know that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was actually one at the helm of affair during his time, alongside the then governor of Cross River State. Then he was the senator. I'm referring to Senator Leah Imoke, who were both in charge of power as at that time. You could recollect with me that though there was so much promises made that period, but you could recollect with me that a lot of funds were missing as promises were made, but there was no tangible proofs that those monies were expended on the issue of power. You agree with me, if you're living in Nigeria, that power is more than a challenge to Nigerians. It has been changed from NEPA to PHCN to all manner of names. Today, disco this, disco that. Power has always been a challenge, and of course he's trying to say, look, the days of challenges of people who keep talking and saying there will be light, they have generated so much power and there's no power. We are giving you our word. I'm not like Obasanjo by shades, but this time around, if I say power is going to be available, power will be available. But that's for Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. I'm actually wondering, because if you go through, he spoke extensively. I'm wondering really, this is not my personal opinion, I'm wondering really why he had to write an open letter to Nigerians. Who would have preferred seeing him live, a video where he spoke and not giving us an open letter as if he's not in the country. But that's, by the way, that's on a side note. But I'm wondering, he said looted funds will be refunded. He's looking forward to looted for being refunded and plowed back into the system. I'm wondering, I hope it's not going to be the same business as usual where they'll just wake up and say they fed 5,000, we gave 5,000 and 5,000, how many million Nigerians in the northeastern part. No. We're looking for economic improvement, not just taking back those monies and throwing it back as if it is Father Christmas, because that is not what is going to help our economy. And being the headquarters of the world, I just hope it's going to do more than just talk.
All right, thank you very much. And there's something I also noticed. I know that the president wasn't happy with the 8th Senate, and he has made some very strong statement about the 8th Senate as if they were responsible for delay in budget signing and all of that. It's really, really amazing, because if you are in Nigeria, you know that submission of budget was always done sometime, almost in January, February. When will they have the time to review it and, all of that? This time around, it was timely. They submitted it in, as at when it should be submitted. Why wouldn't they go through it and make sure that it is signed by the president at the end of the approve it, and it's been signed by the president? Why wouldn't they? You see how he shaded this guy Saraki's this thing 8th Senate, as he said, according to him, he said they were the ones frustrating the effort of the executive, but that he wants to commend the 9th Senate for what they have done thus far, as they have tried, in working. They are so timely in their schedule, and see how they have, kicked the budget running at the start of the year, and he had commended them very well. Talking about balanced growth in every phase of the country, that's one thing I am really, really looking at. I want to see that happen, and he has promised Nigerians that very soon that they're going to be giving our soldiers and our police the best of training and provide them with the best of weaponry, so that they will be able to cope, robbery, insurgency, and banditry. That's one thing Nigerians are really looking forward to. So, going by what you have heard us mention, what do you think is truly the achievement of this government? And do you think that he was just beating around the bush, or do you think that the government is really focused to do something very reasonable? His last word, he talked about this year being a prosperous year, a year of prosperity for Nigerians. Do you think that based on the plan of the government and also the quick signing of the budget, these will be made possible? Go to our comment section, let us interact. Tell us what's your position on this. Thank you very much. We are hopeful that even as we have hit the ground running in 2020, we'll be together like this